Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today I'm going to be doing a book haul. I really like doing book hauls. I feel like they keep me honest to actually read the books that I buy, so love doing these. October was actually a little bit of a book-heavy month comparatively to the last couple of months that I've had. So, without further ado, I do still do Book of the Month. I've skipped a few times this year, actually, but one of October's picks was Foul Lady Fortune, and I really liked Our Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I haven't finished the duology. It's on my shelves to finish, but this is a spin-off off of that duology, so once I reread that, I have this set up for right after it. Really excited to go back to the 1920s Shanghai and excited to see what kind of Shakespearean retelling this will be, similar to how Our Violet Delights was a Romeo and Juliet retelling. The next set of books I have are the books that I pre-ordered for the month of October, and the first one that I got was Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the final book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I pre-ordered the Barnes & Noble edition, which is the more pastel one. I did also pre-order the Fairy Loot edition because I also have those, so that one hasn't shipped yet, but I'll get it eventually. I really wanted these so that I could read them much faster than when the Fairy Loot ones were arriving. So, because I think I ended up getting Kingdom of the Wicked like 6 months after it came out, and I still haven't read it. So I figured by the time I got Kingdom of the Wicked, I'll just wait until Kingdom of the Feared comes out to read them all. And that's what I've been doing. So now I can read them all and binge the entire series. Speaking of Fairy Loot pre-orders, I got my Fairy Loot edition of The Blood Traitor by Lynette Noni, which has really cool edges. It is signed by the author. I don't remember. Does it have cool art? And it's got art everywhere to match the first two editions that I also have and have been collecting. This is another series where I have two editions. I have the normal hardcover edition so that I could read them all. I've been too scared to actually read this series, which is why I haven't picked it up. I do have the audiobook set up to read soon so I could catch up. And I did read the first two books, gave them 5 stars, I loved them. But with the way The Gilded Cage ended, I am terrified of what I'm going to find in The Blood Traitor. So, been very nervous, and that's why I haven't read it. The last book that I pre-ordered, funny enough, I actually have read this book already, and that is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is the sequel to It Ends With Us, which I read last year, and I loved. So I pre-ordered this right when it was announced. I was really shocked that this was announced because It Ends With Us is a very hard-hitting contemporary story following domestic abuse and domestic violence. And I was shocked that we were going to get a sequel, but the sequel was beautifully executed. I adored every second. So many tears. But I did read this the day that it showed up at my house because I needed more Atlas and Lily. So really excited that I did. 100% worth getting a sequel. I didn't know that I needed this, and honestly, I need it to be a trilogy at this point because I just want to keep following Atlas and Lily's story. The next set of books that I have are sequels that I ended up getting this month. The first one is Running Wild by K.A.Tucker. This is the final book in the Forever Wild series, which is a romance taking place in the outskirts of Alaska, and I fell in love with this story. The original 3 books followed, or I guess 2.5 technically, followed the same couple. This is following a different couple. This is our vet finding love, and I never really cared for her because of obvious reasons. So I'm intrigued to read her story, but I love the setting. I love the atmosphere that's built throughout this entire series. And I just have high hopes for this because I've loved everything I've picked up at K.A.Tucker. Next sequel, this is kind of a sequel series. This is a companion series to the Off-Campus series. This is the Briar U series, which we're following characters that we kind of know and that we got to know in the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. So this is The Chase. This follows the sister of Dean, I believe, and one of his hockey mates. It is their love story. She's a bit of a wild child. He realizes that he shouldn't fall for his buddy's sister, and therefore our love story ensues. So really excited. I love Elle Kennedy's writing. She is great at just building characters that I fall in love with. I already love Summer. She was a Spitfire in the Off-Campus series, and I'm really excited to actually get inside of her head with this book. Ended up getting Crown of Wishes by Roshani Chokski. This is a companion slash sequel to The Star Touch Queen, which I read in September and I loved. So I have this queued up on my Audible, or not Audible, I have this queued up on my Scribd account to listen to, because I listened to Star Touch Queen and I really liked how the audiobook was done, but I still wanted a hard copy of this book because they're gorgeous, and I really love Roshani Chokski's writing. So really excited to jump into this one soon. The next two sequels that I have, I've actually already read. I have listened to these on Scribd, and that is The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa and Bridge of Souls by V.E. Schwab. The Wedding Crasher is the companion sequel to The Worst Best Man. I liked this so much better than The Worst Best Man. The characters, the spice, the plot, 100% better. This is a fake dating trope, which is one of my favorite tropes, and they go about it really analytically, which is interesting. And I adored their banter and the growth of their relationship. Bridge of Souls, I've been reading the Cassidy Blake series on Scribd as well for the past month or so, and this is the only one I didn't own. But I listened to it. I finished the series this month because I wanted the spooky vibes, but not to be terribly terrified. So I really enjoyed this. It was a cute ghost story following this little girl, and I just wanted a hard copy of this book because I really like it, and it's definitely something that I would reread again during spooky season every year. Next two books that I ended up getting was Twisted Love and Twisted Games by Anna Huang. These are the physical copies of the Twisted series. I've read all the Twisted series. I've actually just bullied our friend Hannah into reading Twisted Love so that she will fall down the same rabbit hole. I also read King of Wrath right when it came out last week. I read King of Wrath. Once I can get my hands on a physical copy of that, I will also grab it. But I love these books so much that I want to support the author and actually buy physical copies of them. In case she ever goes to like a Polycon or something, I can get them signed. But I love these books so much that when they started getting released in the bookstores, I couldn't help but purchase them. Plus that leaves, I can delete them off my Kindle, which means I can have more Kindle books. So that's a whole thing. I have only 4 books left. The first one is A Promise of Fire by Amanda Bouchet. Sarah keeps raving about this author. We actually met this author at a Polycon last year, and her books got really, really big. She ended up not having any copies to purchase because she got really big right before a Polycon, so everything was sold out, and I had yet to be able to find one of her books in the store. So Sarah ended up seeing this on our latest trip to Barnes & Noble and snagged me a copy while we were there because she also found the latest book in this series. So this is an adult fantasy romance series, and I am so excited. I've been having some issues getting into fantasy books as of late, but I'm hoping that this will be the perfect culmination of what I need from fantasy and romance. Up next, I picked up Layla by Colleen Hoover. This was on sale at Target because all of her books were on sale at Target when It Starts With Us was getting marketed. And this is one of the ones that I have not read. I have a ton of her books, and I want to get through all of her standalones before I jump into any of her series. So I picked up Layla. This book, actually, Sarah ended up giving to me. This is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I read Lore by Alexandra Bracken, which is her latest book, but this is what really put her on the map, essentially. And I've been meaning to read this. This is one of the classic YA series that is sci-fi, dystopia, bunch of kids with mind telepathy kind of magic in a modern world. I know there's a series that was supposed to be really good. I've never seen it, so I have no idea what to expect going into this book, but she was giving this book to half price because she realized she never really was going to read it, so naturally I picked it up. The last book that I have is The Dream Runners by Shveta Thakrar. Shveta Thakrar wrote The Star Daughter, which came out, I want to say, either last year or the year before. And I really liked her writing style. The characterizations in the plot was a little thin. You can tell it was a debut, but I could also tell that I was really going to like her writing. She takes Hindi-inspired folklore and weaves it into these fantasy stories, and I adored reading her stories. So when I saw that she had a new book out, I naturally had to buy it. Also, it's a Charlie Bowater cover. So lot of factors, but I grabbed this because I'm really excited to see what her second book is like. And those are my most recent book haul books because I have very little self-control. But this was actually a relatively heavy pre-order month for me, and just mainly getting sequels and just amping up my collection of books that I already love. So I've read a ton of the books that I bought, which I think is a good thing. So with that, that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, with the occasional Sunday, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!